What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Fargo, Season 3, Episode 9, Aporia. Or is it Aporia? I don't know. I don't know what that word means. I'll probably look it up after. But yeah, next to last episode of the season, and definitely setting up a lot of interesting storylines to finish it out. And so many interesting moving parts, too. You know, with Emmett going in to, like, turn himself in, you kind of have this feeling of, like, oh, okay, so Gloria's finally going to get a win. But then all of a sudden, well, even before that, though, you know, you see the episode start off with Mimo going in and killing this guy. And you see the name on the envelope, and it's Stussy. And all I could think was, they're trying to turn this into a serial killing, aren't they? They're trying to basically make it seem like, well, no, Emmett's just crazy. Like, this is the guy that's been killing all the Stussies, not Emmett. Emmett just feels guilt. And sure enough, they come in, and there's another Stussy that's killed. Same way as Gloria's stepfather. And the first guy was killed with the glass. And so, yeah, I could definitely see where they were going with it. What really frustrated me is, again, it comes down to whoever the superior for Gloria is. I guess he's the new chief. It's just... I've still not seen a reason why he hates Gloria so much, you know? Like, I don't know, give him a reason to. Give him a reason other than, oh, you just say all this smart stuff and you think that's it. It's like, well, yeah, because she's smart. Hello? Like, if he was sexist, maybe that would be a reason. If he was just, I don't know, if he was just an idiot. You know, like the first two seasons, the guy in charge was just that dumb to where whenever the guy came in, like the main character comes in like, hey, I have an idea of what happened. The head guy is so stupid, he's just like, well, yeah, but no, that doesn't make any sense. So, no, that's probably not. It wasn't like they had a grudge against him. It's just they were too dumb to make the connections. This guy seems intelligent. It just seems like he doesn't want to make the connections. Or at least show me that Gloria has had some bad, like, problems in the past where, oh, yeah, I have a conspiracy theory about how this and this and this. And then it wasn't that. And so it happened a few times, and he's just like, look, I've had enough of your theories, all right? You just, every single time something happens, you have a theory that it's something bigger. And then this one time she happens to be right about it. That would be interesting. But as it is, it's just a cliche character in a show that typically likes to throw away the cliches, you know? And that's kind of why I'm so frustrated by it, is that Fargo is a show that likes to push the envelope, to change things up a little bit, to make it kind of like you have an idea of what's going on and then they flip the script on you and you have no idea what's about to happen. That's why I love this show. This character, though, the chief, I don't know his name. he's so frustrating, I don't even want to learn his name. But he's so cliche that it feels like he belongs in a completely different show. It feels like he belongs in a show like, I don't know, Supergirl. You know, in a show where everything's so cliche and it's so frustratingly cliche that this is a character that they would write thinking, oh, this is good drama, guys. But actually it's not. In this case, it just feels like we don't have a real good reason for Gloria not to, you know, be pushing forward. So let's just put a hindrance in there. And it feels like they didn't really do much to develop this guy outside of just saying no, Gloria. And that's about it. So unless I missed something earlier in the season, he really frustrates me just because he's such a one-note character in a show full of diverse and weird and interesting characters. He's just this bland stick in the mud that doesn't really belong here. So, but I will say it was interesting and almost kind of like, it was almost a story within this episode, which I really liked, of Gloria. You know, because you see her, she starts off the episode, she's riding a high, because Emmett turned himself in, she's finally ready to crack the case, but then all of a sudden, they catch this guy that wanted to be caught, that supposedly has been going around killing Stussies, and so now all of a sudden her case has fallen apart, and she has to let Emmett go. And so it's like a downturn. I'm thinking, okay, so they're going to build up for the final episode that she's going to, you know, turn this back around. But then at the end of the episode, they kind of ended on a nice note where she's back up on the climb again because she goes and sees Winnie, who, by the way, is a fantastic character. Like, she's just kind of been there for a few episodes this season, helping out Gloria. But this one in particular, like, she really shined as a character because she just has this moment where Gloria's confessing all this stuff. Like, I just sometimes have this feeling like I don't exist. You know, like, people don't pay attention to me. Like, the sensors on doors and the sensors in bathrooms, like, they don't see me, and I just feel like I don't exist. And all of a sudden, Winnie, like, not only like pokes her to show her she exists, but then also gives her a hug to like make her feel like she's cared about. And it was such a nice moment because then she goes to the bathroom and the sensors start working, and it's such a little thing and it's kind of goofy, but also it's very heartfelt. And I felt like it was a good end to this episode for Gloria, because you know that's gonna give her the motivation to get back in there and be like, no, you know what, screw it. I don't care that they're telling me, hey, you can't investigate this. I don't care that they're telling me, hey, we've already solved it. We're the best. I know what I know, and I know that what I believe is correct. So I'm gonna go fight for it. And I just can't wait to see where they decide to take her story. Like, I'm excited to see what happens next. But it was just a really nice moment. Again, it is a little goofy that, okay, well, the censors couldn't see her until all of a sudden somebody else did. But it's a nice little symbolism, I thought. So, but as far as everything else going on, you know, seeing Nikki and Varga go up against each other is going to be interesting as well. Because we do see she also plays the game. She also knows how to be one step ahead. And so it's almost like a game of chess between them. I know they're talking about playing bridge and stuff like that, but I don't know. It is almost like chess, because even though the reference to bridge does make sense in that Varga has Mimo that he's working with, and Nikki has Mr. I forgot his name again, but I think it's Mr. Wench, the deaf guy. It is kind of like bridge in that sense, but also VM has a lot more people working for him than just Mimo. So it is almost like Nikki versus Varga right now, and they've got their helpers, they've got people to help them out, but it's like they're playing chess. They're moving the pieces around and trying to make sure like they stay one step ahead. But yeah, I love this scene though. Like, it was so well set up. Seeing him like have an ounce of respect for her, but also you could see the frustration. You could see him going, okay, you know, you're really good, but you're also turning down all of my offers. You're not playing like I want you to play. You're kind of, it's almost like he expected her to be kind of like this simpleton, you know, this one note character that's just like, oh, she just wants money, right? Like, if I offer her a lot of money, I'm sure she'll be happy. What he didn't count on is the fact that she actually really cared about Ray, and so wants to see him suffer because of everything he did to hurt her, to hurt Ray, and all of the situation. So she's not just in it for the money anymore. And I think that's really been one of the highlights of Nikki's character this season, is that she did start off as kind of a simpleton, you know, kind of a, oh, she's just in it for the money. You know, yeah, she and Ray are a thing, but she's with Ray because she wants the money. But then it slowly grew into an actual, like, caring relationship. And now that he's gone, she really has kind of like turned it 180, where now she's like, no, you know what? I'm going to avenge his death. I'm going to take care of the people that wronged him and me. You know, and that's, I don't know, I really like how they've handled her character this season. So, with all that being said, though, there's not much else to talk about. You know, we do see Emmett. He's obviously in a lot of danger right now because he tried to turn himself in, but then they got him out, and so now he's back in the hands of Varga. Don't know what Varga's going to do to him, but it can't be good. We also see that one woman that Emmett and Sai went to go see. She comes back in this episode for just a little bit and basically, again, confirms their alibis. I don't really know why she's doing that. I don't know if, like, there's something in it for her or anything like that, but I don't know. I'm kind of confused as to why she, why she's covering for Emmett, but yeah, I think that's about it for this episode, though, so on to the final one. I'm super excited. See you there. And finally, episode 10, Somebody to Love. Again, really, in a Fargo way, just twisting the script, making us think one thing when then something else happens. I couldn't have predicted this ending. And that's one of the things I love about the show, so let's talk about my favorite parts of it. First of all, kind of, I don't know, I was curious to see what would happen with Nikki and Mr. Wench and, you know, all of the stuff with Varga. it was very interesting to see them. They pretty much won the day, but of course that wasn't enough for Nikki. She needed to get to Emmett as well. Um, so that entire scene, though, I didn't know what to expect because she finally caught up to him, and you really, I mean, you could see Emmett was finally at the lowest of lows. I did like the fact, nice little twist in there that the lady that Emmett was selling his business to also worked for Varga, because I was wondering, I was like, why is she covering for him? That doesn't make any sense. You know, why does she trust him so much? Now it makes sense. She's trying to keep him out of jail as well. But yeah, so ended up being the one taking over, and she works for Varga, which, you know, it all makes sense now. Um, but yeah, like it was very interesting to see him in such a low spot, and he finally was just like, you know what, do it. And I was kind of thinking, okay, she probably won't, you know, because now, like, it would be more beneficial for her to see him suffer, you know, than to just kill him. But at the same time, I also think that in her mindset, she was like, as soon as he hits the lowest of lows, that's when I'll finally kill him. You know, and that's because at that point, he can't get any lower. But then, of course, a cop shows up on the scene. And I don't know, it was almost like it was setting up to be such a storybook ending for Nikki and Emmett. And then all of a sudden, it just was not a storybook ending. You know, with the cop showing up, and then he and Nikki kill each other in a gunshot, or in a, you know, quick gunfight. So then Emmett goes home to his family. I think that was his wife, or maybe it was his mom. I don't know for sure. Um, I'm pretty sure it was his wife though, and then those were his kids, and then their kid, and then Sai was there as well. But you know, it's giving us all this stuff like, okay, guys, we're wrapping up. You know, he declared bankruptcy. It seems that he might have had some extra stuff. You know, he was charged for felony something like laundering or something like that, and served like 2 years, or no, 2 years probation. And so it's just like, okay, so they're telling us all this. It seems like it's wrapping up, and then all of a sudden he goes to the fridge, and then there's Mr. Winch, and he kills him. I'm just like, okay, what? Like, that's the thing about the show, is that you think it's going one way. You think it's like, all right, we're wrapping up here, and then all of a sudden it's not. And we're seeing that both of the characters, honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect for Nikki. I didn't think she'd make it out alive, but I didn't expect her to get shot down by a cop whenever she was just about to get her final revenge on Emmett. And then I also didn't expect Emmett, you know, I expected him to not make it out okay. I thought he'd go to prison. I didn't expect him to get 2 years probation and then get killed in his own home. Like, I don't know, just, it's kind of fitting because they both did deserve it. You know, that was kind of the weird thing about this season in general, is that even though, like, the only real people I felt like we should have been rooting for were Gloria and Winnie, I would say, you know, like but they did a good job of making me care about Emmett and making me care about Ray and Nikki, even though they're both, all three of them, are terrible people. It's just Vargo was even worse of a person, and the people he was working for were even worse people, that you did kind of want to see them get one over. But when they finally did, at the end of the day, they're still terrible people. And then they died. So it was weird, you know, that I had that feeling of like, yeah, you know, I'll be curious, or I want them to get one over on Varga, but then, I mean, they still deserve punishment for everything they've done, for all the horrible stuff they've done, and the innocent people that have been hurt in their wake. So yeah, all of that, it was a very interesting wrap up for all of their characters. And then ultimately, after all of that is said and done, we cut to Department of Homeland Security, and Gloria ended up there, and I'm like, perfect. You know, because she deserves it. As much as she's done, as smart as she is, she did not deserve to be a sheriff in some low level Minnesota place with a sheriff, a chief that is constantly putting her down and telling her, no, you're wrong. So to see her at the Department of Homeland Security, I'm like, it's fitting. And so they find Varga. And that final scene, again, I wasn't sure what to make of it. You know, because they're sitting there talking back and forth, and of course she's calling him out. She knows who he is. He's telling her, look, you know, all of this stuff that you're saying, it's essentially all opinion, you know, telling her that she's wrong. And then what's really interesting is we end with she tells him, all right, what's going to happen? 5 guys are going to come in, take you off to Rikers, and I'm going to go see my kid tomorrow, take him to the fair, get Snickers bar. Have you ever had fried Snickers? It's really good. And then he comes back with, no, you're wrong. In a minute, somebody's going to come in here and tell you, a superior, that you have to let me go, and I'm going to walk out of here. And then he starts humming to himself. He fades to black. The clock starts ticking, and we just see Gloria smile, and then the show's over. And that's the thing. They leave it up to our imagination a little bit, which, on the one hand, gutsy, but on the other hand, I'm kind of thinking, I don't know, like, yeah, Gloria's finally gotten to her position in life. She's finally gotten to the point where you can tell she's happy with her job. You can tell she's enjoying herself. She feels more confident in herself as well. So this would have been like the perfect boom. Like, just end it off with a nice little kicker where 5 guys come in, start taking him away, and he looks real confused. And she looks at him and she goes, there's no more superior. I'm my own superior. And then that's just the perfect way to end the story. But at the same time, is that the Fargo way to end the story? Probably not. And that's why I do think that this ending is very fitting. Like, you just kind of, it's up to your imagination. What do you think happened? Do you think that Gloria finally has enough to put him away? Or do you think that Varga's still going to continue to be out there in the world because he's just that powerful? It's kind of up to your interpretation. Or, I guess, whatever you want to happen. I think most people are going to want Gloria to get the better of him, but hey, you never know. There could be some sickos out there like, yeah, go Varga. Anyways, but that's honestly about it for this episode. So, season as a whole, I mean, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic show. I know the 4th season is coming around here soon in September, I believe. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the next season holds. Honestly, it's a show that I want to go back and I want to watch from the beginning. Because especially now that they're drawing references to characters from other seasons, I really want to go back and be like, I wonder how much of that was talked about in this season. I wonder how much these 3 seasons connect. Because it feels like they've talked about it a little bit in some of the other seasons. They've had some characters from other seasons. But I really want to know just how well all 3 of these connect together. Because they're all part of the same universe. They're just 3 completely different stories. And that's what I really like about this show, is how it continues to tell such interesting, intriguing stories while still containing itself in this little universe of Fargo. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. This season as a whole, I think I wouldn't compare it to the first season. Second season was also good, but I don't know, there's just something about that first season because it was so new. I think that's why I feel like it's just a little bit better than the other 2 seasons. Like, first season was just, you didn't know what to expect. And there's a game series, the Zero Escape trilogy, if you've ever heard of it, that I kind of have the same opinion of. I love the second and third games, but the first game was so you didn't know what to expect, and it had a twist that really caught me off guard, so that whenever it happened, it was like, oh, holy crap. But by the second and third game, like, that twist played into it some more, and so I kind of was already expecting something crazy, insane plot twist. So whenever it happened, I was like, oh, well, that's twisty, but it just wasn't the same, like, catching me off guard like the first game was. Because the first game you just go in expecting one thing and then something completely different happens. That's kind of how Fargo has been. That first season, I didn't know what to expect. And so whenever it hits you with that sudden, like, Fargo feel, and then the awkwardness, and then the intensity, there was just something so unique about it at the time. I was just like, wow, that was insane. The second and third seasons have still been good. It just, because I know what to expect, and I've seen it, now Legion as well is another show that has that kind of weird vibe to it. I am not as caught off guard by it anymore. It's still good, but there's just something unique about that first season that just still stuck with me after all these years. But yeah, overall, good season. Can't wait to see where season 4 goes. So that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts in this episode and the season as a whole? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Fargo reviews. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.